All right, it's recall season, apparently. I know. So we got a couple big ones. These are fire, real safety kind of issues here. And you probably saw it from the thumbnail. I know we got the Harbor Freight, the Mower one on there. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But first, I want to get to this other one because this may affect a lot of us, especially this time of year. I actually have this product. It's getting recalled, and that is the Govee space heater. Now, I got a notice from Amazon saying, hey, you bought this thing and there's a recall on it. You should check it out. And I'm going to put a link for all of this to the government's safety, was the Consumer Protection Safety Council, to their website. Now, as far as I can tell, this is basically most of the Govee tower heaters. Now, they're being recalled. The hazard is a small electrical space heater can overheat, posing fire, burn hazards. Testing determined that smart electric space heaters do not comply with the voluntary industry safe standards out of UL, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they get hot, they catch on fire. About 500,000, just over 500,000, as well as another 48,600 in Canada. This is a lot of units, and I went and I looked through Amazon, everything else, and I think it's pretty much all of their tower heaters. And there's more, though, because they're not the only ones. Here, I see another one here from Atomi, which is a very similar kind of product. And in fact, this is where it gets curious. In fact, if you have a space heater, I would go and check on it because look at this. If I go to Amazon, and the reason this is an issue is because we use, in a couple of these different situations, we use these kind of tower heaters. I like them because they don't take up a lot of space. They put out a decent amount of heat. And I really like the ones that are Wi-Fi enabled, which is like the Govee we have. I use it in my basement to help keep the water lines liquid during the really cold months up here in Montana. Now that said, so I was like, well, I'm gonna have to replace this. So I go to Amazon and I go here. I'm looking at all the different tower heaters, and there's tons of them. But I'm looking for the ones that are Wi-Fi enabled because our basement, you have to go outside and go down a hill and go back in. It's a real pain just to have a little Wi-Fi. And I like it in my studio, my shop, because like, hey, I'm going to head down from home. I can pull up the app and I go doop, doop, doop. And by the time I get there, it's nice and toasty warm, right? Well, so if we come down here and we look at this and I go, okay, special features. And let me full screen this so you can see what I'm looking at. And I click see more and I go down. And I'm like, I want Wi-Fi enabled tower fans or tower heaters. There are none. All of the Wi-Fi enabled tower heaters on Amazon are gone, just gone. Now this is weird because there's only 2 that are currently in the recall, or at least on the government's recall page. I gotta think there's more going on. I think that there was some sort of standard, there's something going on here where they're saying these Wi-Fi tower heaters are not permissible because Amazon this time of year, this is the time to sell them. This is when they want to put them out there, okay? All right, enough about this. Basically, if you've got a Wi-Fi enabled heater of any kind, I take a look at it, check the Consumer Protection Safety Council. Just be smart with them, okay, folks? Now let's talk about the one I know you're all waiting for, which is the Mower one, okay? And this is weird because somebody just emailed me a couple weeks ago and going, hey, why doesn't Harbor Freight have a cordless backpack sprayer? And I'm like, they do. I've seen it. And guess what? Now they don't. At least for now. So what we got here, look at this, 53,000 units. Not a huge number. I mean, if you look at, compared to that 500,000 that Govee's having to deal with. But backpack sprayer due to fire hazard. And the hazard in this one is that it's just kind of the design of the unit. You've got the backpack, the 4-gallon container there, which is sitting right above the battery. Maybe somebody should have thought about this. Maybe put the battery on the side, put it up on top. Anyway, I've never seen, I grew up in the Midwest. I've been around farm equipment, stuff like this. I have yet to see one of these kind of containers where there isn't some sort of leakage and stuff that happens. And it just, you're going to see it. And putting the battery underneath it, you got caustic chemicals on a battery, boom, fire, toxic fumes. Think about it, and a lot of people are gonna use this, probably not empty it all the way, maybe leave the battery in it like you really shouldn't with power tools, take it, leave it in a corner, and that's just problem waiting to happen. So it's been recalled. You can take them back to Harbor Freight. They want you to snip the hose on it, clean it out, that whole thing. Again, you want to read this whole thing before you do it there. But as I said, we'll have links to everything else. Now, we got a few other recalls here that I just came across while looking at these. The DeWalt, look at this. Stanley Black & Decker recalls DeWalt walk-behind mowers. Why? Because if water gets up into the arms here, which, wet grass, it rains, some sprinklers go off, these things happen, right? Well, if water gets in there, it apparently can short the shutoff switch, and it won't turn off, or it will turn on whenever it wants. So, that, which I guess laceration would be one word for what could happen to you. I don't want to get any further into it, but again, there's a website down here. You can also call and everything. We'll put links to everything. Also going on, we've got Echo. Their gas-powered backpack blowers due to fire hazard. I mean, there's nothing makes me feel warm and fuzzy like a gas engine with a pint of gas strapped to my back catching on fire. So that could be bad. If you've got one of the Echoes, not a huge amount of units, 3,900. Let's see, how many of the DeWalt had 46,000 units, 9,600 were sold in Canada. And then next up, we've got after the Echo, these are kids' toys. I know that this kind of popular last year. It's from Stanley. They're Stanley branded. Apparently, there's lead in them, so kids, even dogs, if they chewed on it accidentally, something to be careful of. So you want to get rid of them. Almost 500,000 units were sold. So there's a lot of kids out there playing with lead-based products. Yeah. All right. Also, if you've got a John Deere tractor, they're recalling the John Deere compact utility tractors due to crash hazard. The front bell crank in the brake linkage can fail, causing the tractor to lose braking, resulting in a crash hazard. You think? I love it when I lose my brakes, especially on something with whirling blades and whatnot underneath it. Anyway, you're looking at about 147,000, almost 148,000 units in the U.S., another 16.8 thousand in Canada. You want to check on this. Now, you see right down below it, you see that, I don't know if you see on the screen, there you go, the Polaris. I was just going to add, if you have, because I've been looking through these recall things for a couple of years now, if you own any kind of outdoor sports equipment, whether it's a motorcycle, a quad, a side-by-side, a snowmobile, you should probably be checking this list at least once a year, if not twice a year. I would check it once in the spring, once in the fall, because half the items on here, almost half the items are quads and quads and side-by-sides and snowmobiles and such. They're constantly having issues. They're constantly finding new things wrong with them. I don't know what the issue is, but it's a big deal, and you definitely want to check it out. Anyway, links to everything down below. If you know of anybody who has or potentially has any of this stuff, send them this link so they can check it out. We don't want anybody having their garage burned down because they left a sprayer with a battery in it, or have their house burned down because they left a heater going. I think the real issue with the Wi-Fi is they just really don't like the idea of people turning on space heaters when they're not there, which I'm personally really guilty of myself. But anyway, again, we got the links to everything down below. You guys stay safe this holiday season. You all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on.